To Bookfighters, hello, and to people who aren't Bookfighters, this video will contain major spoilers for The Fault in Our Stars, so if you have not read that book and you don't want it spoiled for you, click away and return when you have. Katie, Ari, knowing whether or not Hazel is going to die, I agree, it definitely isn't a valid criticism of the novel as it stands, but it is still one of the reasons why I think, and I'm kind of grasping for reasons why, but my gut feeling is that's one of the reasons why I didn't have the experience that I wanted. But I do disagree with you about Augustus's death. I think that definitely we are not supposed to know that Augustus is the one that's going to die. I think there are tons of things in the novel that suggest that, and if one of your main themes is, oh, you know, death isn't a surprise, everyone knows they're going to die, I mean, then that's not the way you would have gone about it. In that case, Hazel would have died. Yes, there are subtle hints that, like, oh, it's him, it's going to be him, it's going to be him, but they don't point you to him dying when you don't know the plot in context. They're just things that you look back on. You know, you read it again and you think, oh yes, I should have known. It's that type of clue. It's the type of clue that the author puts there, so it doesn't feel cheap in any way. The novel pretty much explicitly tells us that he's healthy and Hazel's the one who's the worse off, who's more ill. I also want to point out that I really don't think that this is a bad book. I just didn't enjoy it. I read this book with a friend and we were reading it at the same time. We were both so excited to get it, and we'd read kind of a couple of chapters and then we'd speak to each other and we were really excited, but then when we were talking about it kind of mid-book, with one of us would be a chapter ahead or something like that, and we wouldn't want to spoil it for the other one, but there was a real kind of a nervousness when we were talking to each other because we both wanted to love it, and there was in these conversations it was kind of like, oh, what do you think? And we were like, oh, I'm not sure, and we were just hopeful that it was going to get better and we were going to enjoy it more as it went along. And when we both finished it, we discussed and we both didn't enjoy it. We both didn't find the things that other people seem to be finding in this book. But as much as I think there are objective faults in this novel, I also think that there are objective things that are very good and that people would enjoy, and I recognise that probably the only reason I didn't enjoy it was A, because of my expectations, and B, because of my cynicism. Yes, I have objections with the plot, but they're no reason why I should have not enjoyed it on the level that I did, I think. I might be wrong. I mean, I even recommended this book to a friend. I knew that they would enjoy it. I don't know how I knew, but I guess if I recommended it to a friend, then I must think in some way that it is a good novel. And I do. I just really didn't enjoy it, and I wanted to enjoy it. I really wanted to enjoy it, and I must stress that, you know, all the other reasons that I gave last week, I mean, I completely stand by them, but I mean, the one that obviously is the strongest one, the one that hampered my enjoyment the most, is the fact that I really didn't care about these characters. Maybe I'll have to read them both again, but again, I'm going to bring Looking for Alaska in because I think it's completely relevant, and I think, you know, it's not so much comparing the books, but understanding why we enjoyed one and not the other when they're by the same author, they're written in a similar way, and they're about similar things. And I don't know the answer to this without rereading, but why is it that I was so attached to the characters in Looking for Alaska, and that these just felt like characters to me in this book? I don't know why that is, and I would love to know, and if you know why that is, let me know in the comments. As Katie said, next week we'll be reading The Importance of Being Earnest. I had a copy of this book, and I bought a lovely pink one from Waterstones because I thought it was nice, and it has an interesting introduction. And I like introductions. I like introductions after you've finished reading the book and going back and context and all that. I know it doesn't really mean much and it's all about the text and whatever, but context is something I kind of enjoy. And if you haven't, on my last video, me and Sarah had a 25 comment long discussion, which I think is a really interesting discussion. It starts off about Looking for Alaska and The Fault in Our Stars. It then moves on into art, as it always does. If you haven't read that, I recommend it. It's quite good. Other than that, you will all see me next week, and Lauren, I will see you tomorrow.